All right, shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. We back at it another week, another camp through the spirit and power of the Most High Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Wadash. All praises to the Most High Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, who is the name of the God of the heavens and the earth, the true and proper name of the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls God and Jesus the Christ. The name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, which His name means He is, He exists, He is to be. In the name of His beloved Son, the Son of the Most High, His name is Yahweh Shai, which His name means He is the deliverer. He is our Savior. So before I get started with my lesson, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory, by saying, Call Halal Yamla, Allah Hayanawa Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, Barak Yamla, Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Wadash, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honor, them Yad as always, to the elders and apostles who've labored faithfully in His truth, and are indeed the true teachers of Israel today. Peace, love, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect, Habayath Madawada, the house of David. The brothers is laboring to make their call of election sure, helping seal the elect of the nation of Israel for the return of our Lord Hamashiach Yahushai is at hand. And to the Akim and Akwafim who also listen and believe on Hamashiach Yahushai, to you I say shalom as well. So shalom to the hopeful elect, shalom to the Bakarim, the believers, all the brothers and sisters who listen and believe on the gospel of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. May the blessing of election, be upon your house, and may the Most High keep the believers in the times that we are in. So I'm going to start by jumping right into it through the Spirit. We're going to jump into Ezekiel, the 7th chapter, that an end has come. An end has come. An end to what? To the way the world is being ruled. The end to the rulership of this world. Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, who are the Edomites in the Bible, is the end of his rule, the end of wickedness reigning in the earth, the end of black culture, the end of thought culture, the end of Western culture, the end of the ways of the world, but the rule of the righteous, coming to fruition. So we're going to get into Ezekiel, the 7th chapter, but before we get there through the Spirit, I want to jump into the fact of the times that we're in now, speaking of the end. It's the book of Luke 17, starting at verse 26. Speaking of the times we are in now, Luke 17 and 26, and it reads, it says, "And as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the days of the Son of Man," which the Son of Man is speaking of, referring to Hamashiach Yahushai, our Lord and Savior, who the world ignorantly and incorrectly calls Jesus the Christ. I'll read it again, Luke 17 and 26, and it reads, it says, "As it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be also in the days of the Son of Man. They did eat, drank, they married wives, they were given in marriage," it says, "until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and the flood came and destroyed them all." So just how it was in the days of Noah is the way that it is now. The scriptures making it very clear. The Lord is making it very clear through the prophets that the times of Noah are upon us again, showing you that when the Bible says that there's nothing new under the sun, everything repeats itself. So we are back in the times of the days of Noah again. Continuing on, it said, they ate, they drank, they married, they were given in marriage, which is the same things that go on today. People giving over to their lustful, fleshful ways, the ways of the world, carnality. So it was the same thing going on then, and we see it's the same thing going on now. Our people are concerned with the ways of the world, with wickedness, and not with righteousness. You see? It says, verse 28, Luke 17 and 28, "Likewise also, as it was in the days of Lot, they did eat, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, and they builded." Verse 29, "But the same day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from heaven and destroyed them all." So it's a reminder of what happened before, because what happened before is coming back to Babylon the Great, to spiritual Sodom and Egypt, which is all metaphors for America. The same thing is coming back. The Lord is going to rain fire and brimstone again on this place that we're in now. By way of what? The ICBMs, the intercontinental ballistic missiles, through World War III, which all these things are quickly approaching, but our people remain in a deep sleep, sleep, you know, and remain, you know, ignorant to the truth of the Holy Scriptures, to the truth of His Word. And the Scriptures say, for this they are willingly ignorant of. Our people are willingly ignorant of the truth, of acknowledging the words of the Most High, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. Continuing on, Luke 17 and 30. Luke 17 and 30, it says, even thus shall it be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed. So the coming of the Lord, when people say that they can't wait for the Lord to come, well, the coming of the Lord is going to be a terrible, tumultuous time, as it was in the days of Noah, you know, when the flood came, and as it's going to be, and as it was in the time of Lot. You know, it's giving us plenty of examples, and as it will be when? As it will be when the nations fight in the battle of Armageddon, Armageddon in the Hebrew, and that great destruction comes to the earth, you know, and those missiles are rained down on Babylon in various parts of the world. It's going to be a repeat through the spirit of what happened before. So the Lord is giving us the warnings through the spirit of Yahushua, through the spirit of Mashiach. I got another precept real quick. This is the book of Ecclesiastes. The book of Ecclesiastes 7 and verse 8. Ecclesiastes 7 and 8 just going into the fact of the times that we are in, you know, and that we are at the end of the rule of the wicked. Ecclesiastes 7 and 8, and it reads, better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof. So it's better to be at the end than at the beginning. Because why? This is the end of the rule of the wicked. So this is a good thing for the believers, the Bakarim, those that have awakened and continue to awake, you know, awake to righteousness and come back to this truth. Ecclesiastes 7 and 8, better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof, and the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. And the proud in spirit starts with Esau, Edom, the man of sin, which is the wicked of the earth. So, better is the patient in spirit, which these are those who have come back to the commandments and kept the faith of the Mashiach when you read Revelation, the 14th chapter. So better is the patient, those that are awakening to this truth and holding fast to that which they have, which is His wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So it says that the patient in spirit is better than the proud, and better is the end than the beginning thereof. So this is the end of the rule of the wicked. This is the end of the rule of the wicked. So this is a good thing for the believers. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. As a matter of fact, I got another precept. Let's get another precept just going into, let's go back to Genesis and get another example of how it was a foreshadowing of things to come in these last days. Now, this is in Genesis, going into the time, it spoke about the time of Noah. So let's go to Genesis, the 6th chapter, and go into the time of Noah. Let's go to Genesis 6 and 13. Let's get a little bit more before we jump into the lesson. This is the book of Genesis 6 and verse 13, and it reads, and the Most High said unto Noah, the end of all flesh is come before me. So the Lord, you know, made this decree before to Noah, and Noah did what? He started preparing himself and his household to the saving of their souls. You see? Which Noah represents, you know, the elect of his time, and the believers today, the brothers and sisters waking up today, we represent Noah in our times. This is the book of Genesis 6 and 13, and the Most High said unto Noah, the end of all flesh is come before me, which is the end of what? You know, the end of the rule of the wicked in this time. Times before was what? When the Lord flooded the earth, 40 days and 40 nights. It says, the end of all flesh has come before me, for the earth is filled with violence. It says, through them, and behold, I will destroy them with the earth. So all the wicked in this time, all those that won't repent, 2/3 of the nation of Israel, you know, will be cut off and die, pertaining to prophecy. All those that won't repent will fall into the same lot as they did before, because everybody's back playing out their same lots in this time that we're in now. So the Lord said, the earth is filled with violence, and we see the earth, the scriptures speak about how perilous times will come, when men, speaking of mankind, will be lovers of themselves. And we see that with our people. Through the ways of the world, through social media, real heavy, you know, our people become lovers of themselves. Our people don't even acknowledge the Most High. They don't even acknowledge the existence of a higher power. You know, more specifically of the true, only higher power, which is the God of Israel, the God of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which are the 12 tribes. So now, the Lord said He was going to destroy them with the earth, and He's going to do it again. So let's jump into it. Let's get to the book of Ezekiel, the 7th chapter. This is the book of Ezekiel, 7, and I'm going to start at verse 1, and it reads, Ezekiel 7:1, moreover, the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, also, thou son of man, thus saith the Lord power unto the land of Israel, speaking of the people, and the end is come upon the four quarters of the land. I'll read it again. So the Lord said that the end is come upon the four quarters of the land. You see? Speaking unto the people of the Most High, the children of Israel. So when it says upon the land, the land is also symbolic of the people. So this is speaking about the people. Wherever the children of Israel are, this message is sent to them at that time and during the time that we're in now. Let's read it again. Ezekiel 7:2, also thou son of man, thus saith the Lord power unto the land of Israel, unto the land, which is symbolic of the people of Israel, and the end is come. See, we're better is the end of the thing. We're at the time of the end of the rule of the wicked. So the end is come. See? So we're at that time again, which all those examples, the time of Noah, the time of Lot, during the time of Sodom and Gomorrah, etc. You know, the time of Egypt also, which when our people were delivered out of Egypt. That's why America, Babylon the Great, is known as Babylon, Egypt, you know, it's known as spiritual Sodom, you know, and Gomorrah, etc. So, continuing on, it says the end is come upon the four quarters of the land. So that end is coming, which primarily, you know, when you read Ezekiel the 13th chapter, Salaki, when you read Zephaniah the 13th chapter, it tells you primarily the deliverance is going to be from Babylon, which is America, but we got also believers that scattered amongst the heathen nations on the four corners as well. So the deliverance is actually going to come to the believers, the elect, in those respective places as well, because it said upon the four corners of the land. So first and foremost, starting here in Babylon, and then to all the places where the Lord scattered us, pertaining to Jeremiah the 16th chapter, you know, in the 14th and the 15th verse. So all the places where the Lord scattered his people, the deliverance is going to come back to the children of Israel, starting with the elect, you know, the Bakarim, the believers. Now, it said the end is come upon the four corners of the land. Let's jump into that. Let's go to the book of Jeremiah. This is the book of Jeremiah, going into the four corners of the land and how the end has come. And that we are in the time of the end, which the scriptures once again tell us, better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof. This is the book of Jeremiah, going to Jeremiah 51, and I'll start at verse 1. You know, it says, the end has come upon the four corners of the land. Jeremiah 51:1, and it reads, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I will raise up against Babylon. Who is Babylon? Speaking of America. I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them, that raise up against me a destroying wind. And what is that destroying wind? Let's get that. Let's go to the book. Let's go to the book of Revelation. Let's go to the book of Revelation in the New Testament and get that in. Revelation, the 7th chapter. Let me read it one more time. This is Jeremiah 51:1. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I will raise up against Babylon, speaking of America. America is known as Babylon also in the scriptures because it's known as the land of confusion. See? I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them, that raise up against me a destroying wind. And what is that destroying wind that the Lord is going to raise up? Speaking of the end on the four corners of the earth. Revelation 7:1, and it reads, after these things I saw the four angels standing on the four corners of the earth. Well, it just told us, we'll read back in Ezekiel 7:2, it says, also thou son of man, thus saith the Lord power unto the land of Israel, speaking of the people that scattered amongst them, and end is come upon the four corners of the land. Let's go back to Revelation 7:1. And after these things I saw four angels standing on the four corners of the earth, holding the four winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And what is that referring to? Referring to the nuclear destruction. The ICBMs, the intercontinental ballistic missiles, which are prophesied in the Bible. They're also known as the glittering spear, you know, the glittering sword, the flying arrows of fire. All of these are names and metaphors for the nuclear missiles, which the nations are gathering together right now. For what? The battle of Armageddon, which is prophesied in the scriptures too, which is what? World War III. This is Revelation 7:1. And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living power, and he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea. And that earth is speaking about all over the earth. But primarily, once again, referring to Zephaniah the 13th chapter, is speaking of that destruction, the lake of fire being here in Babylon. And then unto all the places, or different various parts of the earth that's going to be destroyed in World War III. Continuing on, saying, hurt not the earth, verse 3, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. So until the elect are sealed with that mark of the Wah, start with the 144,000, which is also known as the very elect, until they are sealed, hey, this destruction won't come to the earth, because we have angels as position that's holding back the nations from coming together to fight in the battle of Armageddon, Armageddon in the Hebrew, which is the mounting of the troops. So let's go back. Ezekiel 7 and verse 2, also thou son of man, thus saith the Lord power upon the land of Israel, and end is come upon the 4 corners of the land. So when we go back to Jeremiah 51, we'll get that. Jeremiah 51, starting back unto verse 1. Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them, that raise up against me a destroying wind, which is the nuclear missiles. The nations fighting in the battle of Armageddon. Verse 2, and I will send unto Babylon, unto America, fanners that shall fan her, and shall empty her land. So this land is going to be empty. It's going to be completely desolate, the scriptures say. You see? It says, and shall empty her land, for in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. So in a time, the climax of Jacob's trouble, the missiles are going to be hitting this place, are going to be, shot to destroy the targets that's positioned on the 4 corners of the earth, primarily Babylon the Great. The majority of that destruction is going to be right here. But Babylon also going to shoot on other nations. And other nations are going to fire on other nations who are in league with each other through the different alliances. So it says, and I will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her, and shall empty her land, for in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about, speaking of the nations and the different alliances. So that's what's coming to this land. Verse 3, against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow. And what is that speaking of? The archers is speaking of those nations that possess those nuclear capabilities, on the 4 corners of the earth. It says, against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow, which is those silos that the missiles sit in, against him that lifteth up his brigandine, and spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her hosts. So it's going to be utter destruction here in Babylon, which is America, because the Lord have prophesied and have spoken it before time, that the times we are in, that this destruction would come unto the children of the wicked, and unto all those that are joined unto the wicked, So let's continue on. This is the book of, going back to Ezekiel 7 and verse 2. It says, now is the end come upon thee, and I will send, or verse 3, Ezekiel 7 and 3, now is the end come upon thee, and I will send my anger upon thee, and I will judge thee according to thy ways, and I will recompense upon thee all thine abominations. The Lord God of heaven and earth, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, said he was going to judge Babylon the Great, which is America, for all of his wickedness, and the Lord goes on to say, and according to thy ways, and will recompense upon thee all thine abominations. So the God of heaven and earth is going to recompense unto Babylon all the wickedness that is done. And when you read in the book of Lamentations, it tells you that Babylon is going to drink double of the cup. You see? They're going to have to drink double for what they've done to the children of the Most High, and for what they have done, against the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai. So the Most High is determined, to bring an end to Babylon. And he's going to do that once again by way of the thermonuclear destruction, which are the missiles, which is prophecy, biblical prophecy, and he's going to use the nations as well. So the Most High is determined to do that. So let's get that through the Spirit. Let's go to the book of Zephaniah, Let's go to the book of Zephaniah and show that. This is the book of Zephaniah 3, starting at verse 8. And it reads, because I'm going to read Ezekiel again, Ezekiel 7 and 3. Ezekiel 7 and 3, before I bring this precept, and it reads, now is the end come upon thee, and I will send mine anger upon thee. So the God of heaven and earth said he's going to send his anger upon thee, which is speaking of Babylon, which is the subject matter. And it says, and I will judge thee according to thy ways. So the Lord's going to judge this place according to his wickedness, and will judge thee according to thy ways, and will recompense upon thee all thine abominations. All the wickedness is done in this place. All the devil worshiping, the enchantment, the idol worshiping, the evil doing, which is known as iniquity in the Bible. All the evil and wickedness done is going to be recompensed by the Most High. You know? So let's get that. Zephaniah 3 and verse 8, and it reads, therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord Yahweh, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations. So the Most High is determined to gather the nations. And when you read about the nations gathering, once again, that is World War III, also known as the Battle of Armageddon. Armageddon in the Hebrew. For my determination is to gather the nations. The Lord is determined to gather the nations. Why? That I may assemble the kingdoms to pour upon them mine indignation. And the Lord's indignation is his righteous anger. Even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. So all the earth is going to be devoured with the fire of the Lord's jealousy, which is various parts of the earth is going to be destroyed, and Babylon is going to be utterly destroyed. So all of the land in the place that we sit in now that we call America is going to be completely destroyed, pertaining to prophecy and pertaining to the God of heaven and earth. So the Lord said he's determined to gather the nations to fight in the battle of Armageddon, which is also found in Joel the 3rd chapter. So the Most High is determined to do that. So who can offset the will of the Most High? The scriptures say, who have resisted his will? You see? Who have resisted the will of the Most High? Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. And the answer to that is no one. No one can resist the will of the Lord. So these nations, let's show that further. These nations are doing the will of the Most High. So when you see Vladimir Putin, Angela Merkel, when you see President Xi of China, when you see Kim Jong-un, when you see any of these people, these world leaders, which are the kings and princes of the earth today, when you see them puffing at America, when you see them coming and speaking and saying that they ready to fight and that they arm themselves against Babylon, which is America, that is the will of the Most High. That is the Most High directly putting the spirit on these nations to fulfill prophecy. Let's prove that through another precept. This is in the book of Proverbs. Let's show that in the book of Proverbs. This is the book of Proverbs 21 and verse 1, and it reads, Proverbs 21 and 1, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. So all these rulers of these nations are being ruled really by the Most High. So the Most High has all things under subjection. The scriptures tell us the Lord knows the hairs on man's head. He knows if a bird falls to the ground and dies, it's by the will of the Lord. You see? So all things, the Most High say he knows of every thought of man. You know? He knows the weight of the mountains. He knows how much dust it is on the earth. He has all the stars in heaven numbered and named. So the Most High, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, know of everything there is to be known. So, Proverbs 21 and 1, the king's heart, which is the rulers on the earth, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So man is doing the will of the Most High on earth, whether it be good or evil. Because the scriptures tell you that the Lord have created all things for himself, even the wicked for the day of judgment. That the Lord, you know, he created peace and he created evil. The scriptures tell you that the Most High is a man of war in Exodus 15 and 3. So the Lord has created all things for himself, whether it be good or evil, whether it be righteous or wicked. So let's continue on. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So these leaders of these nations are only doing the will of the Most High, not their own. You know? So, going back, let's take it back. Let's go back to the book of Ezekiel 7. Ezekiel 7 and verse 3. Ezekiel 7 and verse 3. Matter of fact, I'll go down to verse 4. Ezekiel 7 and 4, and it reads, and mine eye shall not spare thee, neither will I have pity. So the Most High, when he brings great judgment, which the beginning of that is the times that we're in now, the time of Jacob's trouble, which great calamity is coming to this earth. A time of lawlessness and civil unrest, is coming to the earth, which is known also in the Bible as the time of great tribulation. So the Lord said, verse 4, Ezekiel 7:4, and mine eye shall not spare thee. The Lord's eye is not going to spare none of the people who won't come back and repent and come back into the fold as Israelites. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. The eye of the Lord is not going to spare you for those, who reject his word and those who reject, the words of the prophets. Those who reject this truth, So, continuing on, it says, my eye shall not spare thee, neither will I have pity. The Lord's not going to have pity when judgment comes, but I will recompense thy ways upon thee. The Lord's going to recompense the ways of this place upon them. Now let's show that further. Let's show the recompense of the Most High. The Lord said he's going to recompense the ways of this place upon them. Now what is that recompense? What is that recompense that the Lord is speaking about? Let's see what that recompense is. This is the book of Isaiah. This is the recompense of the Lord. He said he's not going to spare, and he's not going and he's not going to pity. This is Isaiah 13 and verse 11. The Lord says he's not going to recompense. What is he speaking about? Isaiah 13 and 11, and it reads, and I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity. What is iniquity? Evil doing. Sin is transgression of the law. So all those that willfully break the law and won't repent of God's people, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, he said, and I will punish the world for their evil. He's going to punish you for all of the evil that you do, and the wicked for their iniquity. And iniquity, once again, is evil doing, which is breaking the laws. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease. See, this world is in the midst of great pride. And the scriptures tell you that the Lord hates pride. More than all things, the Most High God of heaven and earth, he hates pride. And he said, and I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease. So he's going to cause all this pride to cease. Whether it's gay pride, whether it's pride in the ways of the world, being proud of being a person in this world, being somebody who thinks of themselves something in this world, whether it's those who feel like they can't be touched or those who feel like they're self-made, that's pride. The scriptures say that pride was not made for man. And the Lord said, why is earth and ashes proud? And I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity. So all the wicked and all those that do wickedly are going to be punished for all their evil doings. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease. All this pride in Babylon, America, Babylon the Great, which is America in the scriptures. The Lord says he's going to cause all this pride to cease. And I will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. And he's going to lay low all of those abominations in this land and all those who are abominable. All those who take on the ways of this world. Because the scriptures tell us to love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. So that would disqualify the vast majority of our people. Why the Lord is only coming for a remnant. He's only coming to give salvation to a remnant. The rest of our people will be destroyed and come back in the kingdom, as newborn babies. Why? For disobedience. And they're going to be humbled then. There won't be no pride in the kingdom of heaven, which the kingdom of heaven is upon us because the Lord is stirring up the nations and bringing an end to the rule of the wicked. You see, the wicked is who's ruling right now. Job 9 and 24, it says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, and he covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, who and where is he? So the wicked, who is ruling currently, his rule is coming to an end. You see? That's why this chapter in Ezekiel, the 7th, it tells you the end has come upon the four corners of the land. And that's the rule of the wicked. So, continuing on, going back to Ezekiel 7:4, and my eye shall not spare thee, neither will I have pity. The Lord's not going to have pity when he brings judgment. Once again, you can't seek mercy in the time of judgment. The time to seek mercy is now. The scriptures tell you in Isaiah to seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Call upon him while he is yet near. And why would the Lord be saying that? Because the time to find him will be the time that he sent out his men to awaken his people to come back to serving him again. Because clearly this earth has turned their back on the Most High God of heaven and earth. And that's shown by the deeds of the earth, by the way in which it's ruled, by the behavior of the people, by the wickedness The scriptures say that wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth. You know, so we are in a world that's exceedingly polluted through wickedness, and that's not hard to tell. Now let's go and show a little bit more why the Most High said he was not going to spare, and he was going to recompense for all thine abominations. You know, and then it goes on to say, Ezekiel 7:4. It says, and thine abomination shall be in the midst of thee, and ye shall know that I am the Lord, Yahweh. So then the people are going to know who the Most High is. Now, how are they going to know that this truly is from God, who people call God, whose real name is Yahweh? This is how they're going to know the times is coming that this is truly of the Most High. Because the scriptures tell you, the Lord said, will he find faith on the earth in the last days? Now, why would he make such a statement? Because we're going to be in such terrible, tumultuous times that people are going to stop believing that God even exists. And you see it right now. People don't even truly believe in the Most High no more right now. So how much more when great calamity and destruction is upon the earth? Much more. Because the scriptures say that the earth is going to be barren of faith. You see? The earth is going to be barren of faith. Meaning people are going to move so far from the Most High that it's going to seem like God has abandoned the earth. But that's not so. The Most High God of heaven and earth is coming to bring great judgment to the earth and to deliver the elect who he promised that he was going to give that salvation to from the beginning of the earth. Now let's get that. Let's get that in the book. I believe it's the book of Psalm. This is the book of Psalm. The book of Psalm 9. Psalm 9 and 16. Let's read this again and bring the precept. Ezekiel 7:4, the last half, it says, and thine abomination shall be in the midst of thee. It says, and ye shall know that I am the Lord, Yahweh, thy power. So you're going to know that this is from the Lord, the Most High, who people call God. Psalm 9:16, and it reads, the Lord Yahweh is known by the judgment which he executed. So that's how people are going to know that this is truly from the Most High, because the Lord is known by the judgment in which he executed. And what is that judgment? The examples of how he flooded the earth. How he flooded the earth during the time of Noah and spared only 8 people. The time of Sodom and Gomorrah, when he destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah and the 5 surrounding cities. You see? These are all examples of that. The time when he delivered the children of Israel out of Egypt, and how he's going to do it again in New Egypt, which is America, also known as Babylon the Great, you know? So these are all examples of the Lord's judgment that he's executed and brought upon the earth. And how do people know? In the ancient world, the Most High was known as Al-Shaddai. Al-Shaddai means a demon-like power, you know? So the Lord is known by that. The scriptures tell you that the Most High is great and very terrible. So the Lord is known by the judgments in which he executeth. You see? So the judgment of the Lord is coming upon this earth. And it started now in the time of Jacob's trouble, and we are in the beginnings of Jacob's trouble. This is the book of Ezekiel, continued on 7 and 5, and it reads, thus saith the Lord power, and evil, and only evil, behold, is come. So this judgment is showing forth that this is going to be nothing but an evil that's going to come. Because, you know, many people believe that there's going to be peace on the earth. And the reason why you see what's going on in the Middle East, in Israel right now, in various parts of the earth, there's no peace because the Most High and the Son of the Most High prophesied telling us that there was not going to be no peace. Let's show that. All right. This is Matthew 10:32, and it reads, it says, whosoever shall therefore confess me before men, him will I confess also before my Father which is in heaven. So who's doing that? Who's confessing the Most High before men? The elect, the believers. Start with the 144,000. Those are the true representatives of the Most High. Those are the ones who are confessing the name of the Lord, confessing his truth with all truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Whosoever therefore, verse 32, Matthew 10:32, whosoever therefore shall confess me before men, him will I confess also before my Father which is in heaven, who's the Most High. Verse 33, Matthew 10:33, red letter, these are the words of the Messiah. But whosoever shall deny me before men, and many of our people deny the Lord in their actions and in their deeds. You see? They deny the Lord in their actions and deeds, and by words, and by doings. Whosoever shall deny me before men, it says, him will I also deny before my Father, which is in heaven. So the Most High said, you know, through Yahweh Shai, he's going to deny those that deny him. Now, why is that important? Verse 34, and the point. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. So no peace is coming to this earth, because destruction has to come and salvation has to come before there's true peace, which is the kingdom of heaven. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. These are words of the Messiah. I came not to send peace, but a sword, which is death and destruction. So the Lord said he's not coming to bring peace. So the time of Jacob's trouble, we are in the beginnings of the time of Jacob's trouble. Great calamity, death and destruction, lawlessness, civil unrest. Verse 35, for I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household. So there's division coming to this earth. Death and destruction, calamity, no peace. You see? So a true prophet will be telling you, you know, truly what's to come, which is what? What the Lord foretold, what will be coming, and the things that the prophets always prophesied about anyway. Let's show that. Let's show what the prophets have always prophesied about, and why the Lord even bring the prophets out on the scene. He brings the prophets out to pronounce judgment, you know, and the destruction of a wicked kingdom as he gets ready to set up another kingdom. And this has been since the beginning of the world. Jeremiah 28 and verse 7, and it reads, nevertheless, hear thou now this word that I speak in thine ears, and in the ears of all the people. So this word is being spoken amongst all nations and amongst all the people, telling the nations their judgment is to come, and telling our people, you know, teaching them their transgressions, in the house of Jacob their sins, and allowing those that are of the elect, you know, to be revitalized through this truth and be brought back for the saving of their souls. So all these things are happening simultaneously. Verse 8, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old, so all the prophets that have been before time, both prophesied both against many countries. They spoke against great countries. So Jeremiah, in the time he was out, he was speaking against the Babylonian captivity. Habakkuk as well, and various other prophets. You see? Moses was what? In the time of the downfall of Egypt. And so on and so forth. You know? During the time when the Lord was here, you had John the Baptist that was here, who was the forerunner, you know, to Yahweh Shai coming. So all of those prophets prophesied, once again, Jeremiah 28:8, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries, against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence. So the prophets always prophesied doom. Doom and destruction to nations and kingdoms, which truly is this good news, which is salvation. Ultimately, it's salvation, which is the Lord coming to save and preserve, you know, his believers, his elect. The Lord has always been with his elect, his believers. So that's what the prophets have always prophesied. So when the prophets come on the scene, great evil, death, and destruction is on the way. The prophets come and pronounce the judgment, then the Most High executes the judgment, which he gave the words to prophets to speak. So let's go back. Ezekiel. Let's go back to Ezekiel. Ezekiel 7 and verse 5. Thus saith the Lord, power, it says, and evil and only evil, behold, is come. So only evil is coming to this place. Verse 6, it says, and evil, and end is come. The end is come. It watches for thee. Behold, it is come. So the end is come. So we're at the time of the end, which through the prophecies, it shows forth the time of Jacob's trouble is nearing, which is the collapse of the society, of the economic system in America, which is going to cause great calamity across the earth. Once again, civil unrest, death and destruction, lawlessness, great sin and murder, which the scriptures speak about. Perilous times. Perilous times are coming. We are in the midst of perilous times. Verse 7, it says, the morning is come unto thee. And what is that morning? To the believers, the end of Esau's kingdom is the morning that's coming unto the believers. And let's get that morning. Let's go to the book of Hosea. It said, the morning is come upon thee. And that's speaking of the believers. The morning is come for the believers. And what is that morning? Is it talking about another day, sunshine? No, the end of this place is going to bring forth the morning, you know, for the believers. Let's see what that morning is. Hosea 6:1, come and let us return unto the Lord Yahweh, for he hath torn and he will heal us. He hath smitten and he will bind us up. So this is the time of the Lord, where the believers are returning unto the Lord, so that the Lord can heal us. The scriptures speak about how the Most High is sending his Son to come with healing in his wings. Hosea 6:1 again, come and let us return to the Lord Yahweh, for he hath torn and he will heal us. So the Lord is coming to heal and coming to bind up, you know, the elect and save them and preserve them. He hath smitten and he will bind us up. And how did the Lord, what does it mean he has smitten? When you read Isaiah the 47th chapter, you know, it tells you that the Lord, that the Most High was wroth with his people, you know, that in his indignation, roughly paraphrasing, you know, in his anger, you know, he was wroth with us, but in his favor, he's going to show us clemency and love. And that clemency is the remission of sins, the forgiveness of sins, and ultimately salvation. It says, for he hath torn and he will heal us, he hath smitten and he will bind us up. So how is he going to bind us up? Let's find out. Hosea 6:2, after 2 days, which is a metaphor for 2,000 years. Because the scriptures tell you in 1 Peter the 3rd chapter that one day to the Lord is as 1,000 years. 1,000 years is as one day. Hosea 6:2, after 2 days will he revive us. And how will the Lord revive us? He's starting that process by giving us the truth back, which is spiritual, you know, revitalization, you know, which is life again. Proverbs 7:1 tells you, you know, my son, keep my commandments, you know, that I have laid up to you, roughly paraphrasing. It says, keep my commandments and live, and the law is the apple of thy eye. So the commandments is symbolic of life. Hosea 6:2, after 2 days, which is a metaphor for 2,000 years. So since the Lord was here, it's been 2,000 years. After 2 days will he revive us, will he bring us back into the knowledge of the truth, and then save us. In the third day, he will raise us up, and we shall live in his sight. So the time of the coming of the Lord, you know, is that morning. You know, the day is symbolic of when the time when Yahweh shall come back, because it's going to be night during the times that we're coming into now. We're in the time of darkness, you know, where wickedness is covering the earth, which darkness and wickedness, and they go hand in hand. Those are metaphors, you know, for bad times, for evil times. So that's the morning, you know, that's the morning that's coming to us, which is the coming of Yahweh Shai, symbolic once again to the morning. Now let's get that further in the book of Matthew, the 9th chapter. It's a precept real quick. So this is Matthew 9, going into that morning, because the morning is symbolic of the time when Yahweh Shai is going to come back and give the elect deliverance. Well, let's show that. The time that we are now is coming into the time of darkness, of night. And the morning is going to be when the Lord come back. Because the times that's here now, moving forward, you know, through the time of Jacob's trouble, as it intensifies, it gets to its climax, all that will be symbolic of night. So let's show that real quick. This is the book of Matthew. This is the book of Matthew 9. Going right to the point. Let's see. Maybe it's John. Salakia. It's the book of John. It's the book of John. I believe it's John 9:4. It's the book of John 9:4. And it reads, I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. See, the day, you know, is going to be the coming of the Lord, which the day, you know, is symbolic to righteousness, truth, light, things of that nature. I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. The night cometh when no man can work. So that night is the time of Jacob's trouble, the time of peril, death, and destruction, the great tribulation. You know, the scriptures tell you in Acts 14:22 that that it's through great tribulation shall we enter into the kingdom. So that's the time that the Lord was prophesying through the scriptures that was to come. So I'll read it again, John 9:4. I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. The night cometh when no man can work. So the night is coming where the prophets won't be out here speaking this truth, bringing you this truth. So let's go back. Let's go back to the book of Ezekiel. Let's go back to Ezekiel. Ezekiel 7 and 7, and it reads, the morning is come, which is symbolic to the coming of our Lord, Yahushua, unto thee, O thou that dwellest in the land, the time is come, in that land, speaking primarily here in this land, Babylon the Great, which is America, which is the greatest portion of the deliverance is coming in the land of the north, America. But also in all the lands where the Lord have scattered us. Let's get that. Starting right here in Babylon, that's in the land, but also in all the lands where the Most High have scattered us. So I'll read it again. Ezekiel 7 and verse 7, the morning is come unto thee, O thou that dwellest in the land, the time is come, the day of trouble is near. So the day of trouble, what precedes the day of trouble, which is night, is the morning. And what is that morning? The coming of Yahushua. It says, it's near, and not the sounding again of the mountains, not the nations going, the next nation ruling, and we're going to get that. It is not going to be the sounding of the mountains, the nations, another nation taking rulership as has been before. The scriptures tell you in 2 Ezra, the 8th chapter, that this world has been made for many, but the world to come is made for few. So now, let's show that again, that this morning, you know, that this morning that's coming, it says, is going to dwell us in all the land. Let's show that. You know, primarily Babylon first and foremost, but also all the lands where the Lord has driven his people to. Jeremiah, this is the book of Jeremiah, 16 and verse 14. Jeremiah 16 and 14, and it reads, therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. So we're going to stop talking about the great deliverance in Egypt. Why is that? Because the deliverance from Babylon and all the places where the Lord drove his people is going to be greater than the deliverance in Egypt. Verse 15, but the Lord Yahweh liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north. And what is the land of the north? North America. It says, and from all the lands whither he have driven them. That's where all the rest of the believers are scattered on the four corners of the earth. It says, and from all the lands whither he have driven them, and I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers, which is the land of Israel. Showing you that the 1948ers, the fake Jews that's over in the land right now, cannot be the people of God. And one of the most, you know, striking and glaring signs of that they cannot be the people of the Most High, is that there will be peace in the land. And the Lord said he will bring us and put us back in the land that he gave to our forefathers. You see? So, that's showing you in all the land. So let's go back to Ezekiel 7 and verse 7 again. The morning is coming to thee. It says, O thou that dwellest in the land. And what is that land? Babylon. And all the lands where he scattered us. It says, the time has come, the day of trouble is near, and not the sounding again of the mountains. So it's not going to be the sounding of the mountains. You know? The sounding of the mountains. Which we're hearing part of the soundings of the mountains now, because we hear that tumultuous noise that's spoken of when you read in Isaiah the 13th chapter. It's not going to be the sounding of the mountains anymore. Now, what is that getting into? The rulership of one nation to another. Once again, it tells you the nation, but the world that's now has been made for many, but the world to come is for few. So let's show that it's not talking about the time of the rule of the other nations. This is 2 Ezra 6. 2 Ezra 6 and 7, and it reads, then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? Meaning, how are we going to know what time we are in? How are we going to know when the beginning and the end is going to come? Or when shall the end of the first be and the beginning of it that followeth? So the prophet Ezra was asking, how are we going to know the times that we're in to know when the end of the rule of the wicked is going to be, and then the time of the rule of the righteous, which is Israel being given the kingdom of heaven? Verse 8, 2 Ezra 6 and 8, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the hill of Esau. So he's going back to the story, when you go back into the Genesis 25th chapter, the story of Jacob and Esau, the righteous and the wicked. Continuing on. Verse 9, for Esau is the end of the world, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, the rule of the righteous, which is the children of Israel. The rule of the righteous is after the fall of the wicked. That's what the Lord was was proclaiming through the prophet Ezra or Esdras at that time. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So the wicked has to fall in order for the righteous to come in rulership. So why is it important? You know, because it shows it's not the sounding of the mountains, meaning there's not going to be another ruling Gentile nation after the fall of Esau. So the Chinese, you know, the Japanese, the Russians, none of these other nations are going to rule after the Edomites fall, which is the children of the wicked, which is the so-called white man. He calls himself the European. He calls himself also Caucasian, white, you know, which he truly is the red man because Edom means red. So now, continuing on. Verse 8. This is Ezekiel 7 and 8. It says, now will I shortly pour out my fury upon thee and accomplish mine anger upon thee, and I will judge thee according to thy ways, and will recompense thee for all thine abominations. The Lord is coming to judge Esau, Edom, and the wicked of this earth for all the wickedness they've done and for all the abominations. Because there's great abominations that go on in this land each and every day. Transgenderism is a great abomination to God. No matter, you know, what your pastor don't say, no matter, you know, what Western culture and Western civilization promotes, transgenderism and homosexuality is a great abomination. So the Lord said he's coming to recompense all the great abominations that's in this land. And there's great abominations in this land. Whoredom is a great abomination. You see? All of the evil doing that's done that hasn't been recompensed, all these abominations are going to be recompensed by the God of heaven and earth. Thus saith the words of the Lord. Whether our people hear or forbear, whether you listen or you don't, they're still not going to stop judgment. Judgment is still going to proceed forth. Let's read it again. Ezekiel 7 and 8. Now will I shortly pour out my fury upon thee. The fury of the Lord is coming, is upon this earth, you know, and you people going to see that when you see this economy crash. When this economic system, which is on its last thread, when it crashes, that's when the people are going to know that a prophet has been among them. That's when they're going to know that the prophets of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua are the true men of the Lord. And that's when they're going to want to seek, you know, mercy. But it's going to be too late because judgment's going to be here. Continuing on. Now will I shortly pour out my fury upon thee and accomplish my anger upon thee. So the anger of the Lord is shortly coming to the earth. It says, and I will judge thee according to thy ways and will recompense thee for all thine abominations. And what are all those abominations that the Lord is coming to recompense this place for? Well, let's get a few. Let's go to the book of Isaiah. Because the Lord said he's coming to recompense this place for all of the wickedness. And then he made a point to say all of the abominations, you know, which these are travesties that's going on the earth. You know, that this earth is in the midst of peril, you know, and wickedness. You know, wickedness on a high level. The scriptures say we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So this earth is an abomination in its current state. That's why the Lord got to come cleanse this earth and put back righteousness in the earth. You know, once again, wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth. So let's show that. Let's show that. This is the book of Isaiah. Let's get that precept. Isaiah 47. Why the Lord said he's coming to recompense all the wickedness and abominations. Isaiah 47, I'll start at 1 and go down to the point. Isaiah 47 and 1, and it reads, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon, which is America, a metaphor for America. The virgin daughter of Babylon, which would be the Babylon to come. The daughter of, meaning the offspring of, not the actual ancient Babylon. That place, you know, those Hamites were destroyed. Speaking about the one to come. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, and sitting on the ground is symbolic to losing rulership, being in a low position. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, meaning the rulership. It tells you in Psalm 94 and 20, shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee. Speaking of rulership of the wicked. And who is that? The rulership of the so-called white man, who is the wicked of the earth. It says, come down and sit on the ground. There is no throne, meaning no more rulership, O daughter of the Chaldees, for there thou shalt be called no more tender and delicate. So no more is America going to be known as this righteous nation. No more are they going to be known Lady Liberty. Come unto me, all the huddled masses yearning to be free. The land of opportunity, the land of the free, the home of the brave. They're no longer going to be known as that. Why? When great calamity comes and economic systems collapse, the people are going to truly know that they are in Babylon the Great, which is the land of confusion, you know? And we see that confusion all the time. Men turning themselves into women, women turning themselves into men. You know, this gang thug culture, you see? Almost every day you see mass shootings in this place, showing you that this place is anything but tender and delicate because it's going to get touched. And this land is going to be invaded. You see? Let's go down to the point. This is Isaiah 47. Let's pick up at verse 10. It says, for thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Why did the Lord say that he's coming to recompense the abominations? Because he said, for thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. See, Esau, Edom, the wicked, have trusted in his what? In his abominations, in his wickedness. And the scriptures tell you that the knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom. So the knowledge that the wicked possesses, though he's wise in the children of light, the knowledge he possesses, he uses it for wickedness. So it shows forth that the wicked is not profitable to the earth. Isaiah 47:10, for thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. So the rulers of this earth have trusted in their wickedness. Esau, Edom, thou hast said, none seeth me. See, they believe that the wickedness that they do on the earth, that nobody don't see it, that nothing's going to happen. Thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee. So the wisdom and knowledge of the wicked have perverted him. It hasn't made him, rule the earth in righteousness. It hasn't allowed him to govern, according to the standard, which is supposed to be, this land is supposed to be a God-fearing nation. In God we trust. They don't trust in the Most High. They don't uphold any of the laws of the Most High. It says, thy wisdom and knowledge, it hath perverted thee. Thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. So the ruler of the wicked, Esau, believes that nobody's going to be able to bring him down. The scriptures tell you that also in the book of Obadiah. In Obadiah, it tells you, the wicked say, who shall bring me down to the ground? And the Lord said, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, that he's going to bring him down to the ground, that he's going to bring the wicked down, into a low position. Continuing on. So he said, I am, and none else beside me. Verse 11. Speaking of the abominations of this place, therefore shall evil come upon thee, thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee, thou shalt not be able to put it off. So the scriptures tell you there's no hill in Babylon, which is America. It doesn't matter how many stimulus checks they give out, that ain't gonna heal Babylon. It doesn't matter how many $2 trillion plans they got for infrastructure and development, that's not gonna heal Babylon. You see? More and more of the plagues, are going to come to New Egypt, Babylon, America, until this place is destroyed. So nobody's going to turn back the will of the God of heaven and earth. You see? So Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, whoever, the wicked ruling elite, nobody can offset the will of the Most High. Thus saith the Lord. It says, thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. So this desolation is speaking about the fall of Babylon the Great, which is America, found in the 18th chapter of Revelation. Babylon is fallen, So they won't know from whence it's come. It's going to come upon thee suddenly, the scriptures say. Verse 12, speaking of the abominations of this place, stand now with thine enchantments and with thy multitude of thy sorceries. So nothing but enchantments and sorceries, devil worshiping and wickedness. That's what this land promotes. Not righteousness, not righteousness. And it tells you that in the book of Hosea, the 1st chapter, that the Lord has a controversy with the land because there's no truth, knowledge, nor mercy of the Most High in the land. There's no knowledge of truth in this land. Nothing but wickedness. So, Isaiah 47:12, stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. So they've been doing this since the inception of America. Going back to 1776. Hell, going back before then. Going back to the 1600s when they brought Judah, Benjamin, Levi over here. And before that, when they took over you so-called Latinos and Native Americans and tried to genocide you and took your land and resources. You know? It says, thou hast labored from thy youth, if so, be thou shalt be able to profit. But it says, if so, be thou mayest prevail. So if you can, offset the will of the Most High. That's what the Lord is saying. Verse 13, thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels, all of the secret counsels of the wicked. Going into your Bilderberg meetings and groups, meetings. Going into all of the secret counsels of the wicked, going into your G20 summits, your G7 summits, etc. Into your think tanks. Going into, the Pentagon, all of the secret meetings, all of the rulers of wickedness, all of the Illuminati, the top rich families coming together, coming up with ways to keep the children of Israel down and to try to offset the prophecies of the Most High. Thou art weary in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. So let's see if Babylon can save itself. Let's see if Babylon can be healed, because the Most High said that Babylon, America, can't be healed. This place is circling the drain fast. And 2/3 of our people, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the Most High gonna fucking kill you people. And to the wicked, the Edomites, the so-called white man, your ass is going into slavery. Thus saith the Lord. Revelation 13:10. You devils is going into slavery. And 2/3 of you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you niggas is gonna get destroyed by the God of heaven and earth because you refuse to come back to the truth. You stand in these damn churches, which is against the Most High God of heaven and earth. You will return to your heritage and who you are. So the Most High is gonna kill 2/3 of his people. And if you don't believe me, read Zephaniah, the 13th chapter, the 8th and 9th verse, where the Lord said he's gonna kill 2/3 of his people. And why is he gonna do that? Because he said his people are stiff-necked people who refuse to hear the law of the Most High. They refuse to come back to the words of the Most High. So for that refusal, there's gonna be recompense. The scriptures tell you that the Lord loves his judgment. And that recompense is gonna be what? The time of Jacob's trouble. The civil unrest is coming. So keep trusting in your government, who's giving you fake money that's being printed out of thin air, that's not backed by gold. Keep trusting and believing in your government as this economy collapses, which is on the last leg, you see? Keep trusting and believing in it, because it's biblical prophecy that when Babylon fall, the world gonna fall. And that's gonna be Kwam Yasha'Allah, the rise of Israel, which are God's people, starting with the elect. 1/3 of the nation of Israel is who salvation is coming to. 2/3 of our people gotta die because they're already dead. The scriptures tell you in Proverbs 21